Talk a little science, as a very unusual sight is currently visible in our skies. Actually, one of the largest sunspots on record. Joining me tonight with all the details on how to safely see it is Chris Grohusko, a local astronomer. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
How unusual is this, and what are we looking at? What is a sunspot?
Okay, well, a sunspot is just a cooler area on the sun, which makes it appear black. So, because it's got a lower surface temperature than the surrounding region of the sun, it's just a little cooler, and it comes out as a black splotch on the sun.
And how big is this? I mean, we're talking about several particles here, right?
Okay, well, there's a cluster of sunspots, but in total it's 200,000 kilometers across, or 124,000 miles across, and it's one of the biggest in the past decade.
Wow. According to
spaceweather.com.
And we're looking at some video of it now. I mean, this is clearly visible in the sky. You obviously don't want to look directly at the sunspot without the proper equipment, but it's something you can see without having a telescope even.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah.
So we've got a little science experiment for folks. If they want to go see the sunspot, what do they need to do?
Okay, well, all you need is like a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars. You can get, they're like $10. But you just point like you were going to look at the sun, but you project from the front out through the back onto a white piece of poster board or cardboard, and you just line up the sun with the binoculars until you see a solar circle on the cardboard, and then you just slightly focus it, and you can see this actual gigantic sunspot. You can see it perfectly sharp. It's not miniature. It's like a high caliber telescope view, quite surprisingly, through just a meager pair of 10 by 50 binoculars. And I surprised myself when I tried it for the first time.
We've got a picture of you actually trying that. We're going to bring that up here
okay.
in just a second. But this is, you're saying it's almost a way to cheat.
Yeah, you can cheat the solar telescope equipment industry out of $2,000 or $3,000. I mean, it's a very sizable image for a pair of binoculars, so it's very impressively sized.
And there's the picture of you doing it. I mean, you can see it pretty clearly when you're actually performing this little science experiment.
Right,
something anyone can do at home.
Correct, and it's just a very personally rewarding little experiment. And you can see those black splotches on the sun even with the binocular projection.
How many more days will we be able to see this?
Well, before it rotates off the sun, I would say maybe 2 more days.
2 more days. So time's running out. You want to head out there when there's some sun up in the air and check this out. Now, one of the unique, I guess, really interesting side effects of this is the auralis, which is possible in the coming days.
Yeah, the aurora borealis. I did photograph an occurrence caused by a solar flare. In the same exact case as this, there was a big sunspot and a sun flare. And I photographed that aurora at Waco tanks at 4 in the morning. In a circumstance as we were having today, it caused the northern lights, or the aurora borealis, the sheets and curtains of glowing, flickering light in the sky, to appear in the desert, which you can see anytime after midnight tomorrow night when this flare arrives.
But the key to seeing it is you want to head away from the city lights. You were mentioning Waco tanks is a good place to see it, but is that the key? I mean, how far out of town do you need to get?
Not extremely far. I mean, the shortest route would be Waco tanks, about 30 miles at least, 45 minutes to the east of El Paso.
And the lights will actually, you can see them moving, almost dancing, you've said, in certain systems.
Well, I've seen them like a breeze blowing a curtain. They'll just pulsate and flicker like a chandelier light, dimming and brightening. So, yeah, that normally happens after midnight, but
wow.
Yeah, and from a dark sky. I mean, you want to see it.
Pretty fascinating stuff. This doesn't happen very often, though.
No. I mean, last time it was 13 years ago, so we do have a 60% chance of a geomagnetic storm which can cause an aurora. So that's supposed to arrive here tomorrow into the atmosphere, and so by tomorrow night, if you just drive out and look to your north, out of the city limits, you can very likely see an aurora.
You were saying around midnight, probably the best time?
Yeah, anytime midnight and after, and spaceweather.com has all the updates.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Very interesting stuff. We
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
All right.
And stay with us. More News Channel 9 coming up right after the break.